Greetings, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And I bet you were wondering what happened to me. And I was just waiting for the impetus to rise up. I do like to be regular. I like to be consistent. I shoot for every other day, but when I was, looking inside and consulting the oracle, I was basically being greeted with emptiness. Which is nice, actually, because I think so much of what we're looking for when we're looking for INFJ content is answers to the existential problems of our existence. And if you're looking inside and you're not even really perceiving much of a self there, then you really don't have any problems for the most part. Now, that's not me all the time. That's just, well, it's conditional, isn't it? And I think that's what the nature of the self is. It's conditional. So I may be quite preoccupied with a lot of things that don't concern you and that I don't wish to communicate through the vehicle of this visionary channel. So I'm not saying I'm empty. I'm just saying when it came into my mind what should be the next video, I had nothing except the thing that I think you mostly don't want to hear, which is that it's quite possible that the self that you have, that you hold on to, is mostly illusionary, mostly conditional. And that's in the face of it seeming to be the most persistent thing. But what is it that persists from moment to moment is conditional, right? Which leads to the actual topic of this video, because I've already talked about this self thing, and I realize that most people don't really want to hear about it. They're looking for something else. And there is something else I've been wrangling with, and that's the idea of change. Now, change, of course, is the one constant. We all hear it. And yet, well, I can't speak for any other INFJ, but I can say personally, I'm not a huge fan of change. What I like to do is settle into a situation and then make things, build things, create things, and pursue mastery in that regard. That's what brings me the most fulfillment. In a sense, that's what I do with this channel. Here we are on video number 64. And this is a little side project for me. It's a little basement project, right? But still important to me, and I think the fruits of these efforts will manifest in lots of different ways that we cannot see yet. So don't think I'm going to be giving up. I just didn't feel like pushing something out when there was nothing there that I thought you would want. Now, sure, we can say change is the only constant. Get used to it. But you either like change or you don't. And I don't know if it's a straight up INFJ thing. Maybe there's INFJs out there that love lots of change, but somehow I don't think so much. I think a lot of us are of that mindset to go deeply into things. And if the circumstances of your life are constantly changing, that means that you have a lot more cursory level of awareness of any of the specific things that you're dealing with and interacting with in your life. It's not till you sit with most things for quite a while that they reveal their the full aspect of their nature and the true depth that can be realized by going deeply into them. Yeah, deeply into depth. You like that? Yeah, hopefully you like today's image. This is what I just kind of came up with. And what I'd envisioned when I'd asked my assistant to make this image was kind of the seahorses, like moving around at angles and things, but it struggled with the whole concept of books turning into seahorses and gave me this, but I really liked the image, so I'm giving it to you, and we can look at it together. And interestingly, I was listening to a guy who was talking about how he didn't feel that the AI art was going to have any traction. He says because nobody wants to sleep with AI. That would be a good topic for another video too. The attraction and human sexuality as the impetus behind all creation. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of a bit Freudian, maybe, or something like that. I like to think there's other things going on, other reasons, but you can get some value from a reductionary type of thinking. Anyway, how do you deal with change? What's the best way? Well, I tell you, I brought it up on the channel before, but it bears repeating here. The Book of Changes is, in the West, it's kind of a curiosity. In the East, there's a giant scholarly tradition tied to this book. It is as fundamental to their history and culture as the Bible is in the West, maybe even more so. And I have to say, far more useful, and I'm not dissing the Bible in any way. I think it's a valuable book, and certainly the underpinnings of the West and Western literature, so on and so forth. More so, I'm pointing out how important the I Ching is. And it grew out of a tradition of trying to predict the future, on one hand. Now, I never use the I Ching in that regard because I would rather not know exactly how things are going to go down in the future. So I'm never asking those kind of questions. The best question I like to ask the I Ching is, what's the best attitude for me to adopt in the face of what's going on with this situation? It may be perturbing me, or it may be something I have hopes and aspirations about, or it could be business, or it could be my relationship, or an argument I'm having with somebody. And in my experience, it's always given me fantastic advice. And the other thing I might want to point out to you is that I've been working with it for years, like almost 20 years now, and there are certain hexagrams and moving lines and things that don't always make sense to me, and I have lots of copies, and I'll dig into it, but mostly I just use my introverted intuition to guide me as I'm trying to figure out what it's trying to say. But the thing I want to impart to you is that there are some AIs that are incredibly, actually all of them I would say, are incredibly good at breaking down these readings from the I Ching. The one I favor the most is Gemini from Google. It's incredible. And what you want to do is give it a lot of context. Tell it everything that's going on with you and why you were asking the I Ching the question. And then give it what the I Ching said and say, I'd appreciate your interpretation. And you will be blown away at the depth and thoroughness. And again, I have to point out that a lot of Westerners like I Ching, Shmi Ching, big deal. Well, it is a big deal. It is really incredible. And all it really is a way, it's a map. And the map, the territory isn't the map, of course, but it's an incredible map. You have 64 hexagrams, 64 different alternate ways energy can flow through any situation and the changes involved. And you interact with it, I tell you, you'll get something. And now the other thing is, it's not the I Ching. It's just going to maybe help you deal with changes. But the other thing I would point out is that the thing that you want to impose on life, the permanence, the ongoing sameness that you're looking for sometimes, it really doesn't exist. It's only an idea. So as much as I don't want to go rushing into lots of willy-nilly changes, when they present themselves and when the universe makes it absolutely foundationally clear that change is going to occur, I recommend embracing it wholeheartedly, INFJ. And until I come back, hopefully in a couple days, keep on keeping on.